Hi, Bill Henshaw here again with another current events topic that's a really interesting one, much more so than you would think at first blush. And that is, I downloaded an article off the internet that was talking about Virginia becoming the 38th state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, which, for those of you who don't know, was originally proposed circa 1972, and the date for ratification was extended until I think 1978 and then 1982, and it never got done. So it presents an obvious question and a very interesting one for us, because if you can go back 48 years and have an amendment that was proposed that long ago adopted, when Virginia becomes the 38th state to ratify it, and oh, by the way, that's a hell of a trick, given the fact that the regular viewers of my videos know damn well that the crown jewel of my unopposed constitutional issues are there are no states. That's the first argument I would make in an amicus curiae brief to 904 if that ever gets there. But if you can go back 48 years, why can't we go back 150 and attack the ratification of the non-existent 14th War Amendment? And that issue, by the way, has never been, at least before the 904s, and I've never found any case law on it. Any of you listeners out there that know about that, please send me information, send me a link, I will take a look at it. I have never seen it, never been there, and that's a big deal, because with the Supreme Court's Ashwater doctrine I've discussed on earlier videos about what they will hear and what they won't hear. Rule number one: the court will not address an issue of constitutionality in the advance of the necessity of deciding it. If you don't ask, we ain't going to answer. And they know damn well no member of their Supreme Court bar in his right mind is going to raise a question like that. Not only do we have to do it on our own, we have to be able to have the knowledge and ability to know how to do it on our own. And that's another thing, another issue that beats them in the trial court, because if we haven't been educated in their damn mandatory public education system, how are we supposed to know that? The attorney to which we are entitled only knows 14th Amendment case law crap, if he even knows as much as that. Thank you again, Daryl Stallworth. And you can't get an attorney that's conversant with constitutional law and can present the issues that we wish to present and have every right to present. So the fact that this amendment has quote unquote been on the books for 150 years means absolutely zero. If it wasn't ratified, it was null and void from day one. It is what it is, and we can prove every bit of it. And that's why I've had a lot of success that I've had, especially in my South Carolina felony case, where I was making exactly that argument. Now, it took the bastard 7 months to throw the towel in for various reasons. I think it would have happened quicker under other circumstances, but nevertheless, when they finally figured out that if they got me in front of a jury, I was going to break the state bar monopoly, which I would have done. You know, they realized they had nowhere to go, and they offered me a time-served plea deal, which is as good as an admission of lack of jurisdiction. So naturally, I took that and got the hell out of South Carolina, never to return. Sorry, Vanna White. So that said, you know, this is an interesting subject, and I think there simply are no time limits here on stuff like this. If you can prove violations, especially of all 6 articles of the Constitution, we're not talking civil rights crap here. The amendment should never have been proposed, let alone ratified, and it wasn't. And it makes all of that case law they're trying to use against us and all of their statutes null and void. That's the affirmative defense we get in front of the courts at the first opportunity. We make those arguments and much more besides, and say, guys, you don't have jurisdiction. You can't enforce it against me. None of this stuff exists, and even if it did, I am not an artificial corporate entity. Do I look like ExxonMobil to you, Judge? Damn. I mean, are you that ignorant? Holy smokes. You think there's a lot of humor in it, and I do try to keep that in mind at all times, like I did in the last Oakland hearing. There is a lot of humor in it, but it's a very serious business, and we can succeed. I believe I now have the ways to do it. and succeed in keeping you out of their courts to start with, and petitioning for redress to make them pay for what they did do. And the good news about that is, with the unopposed records you're going to set by acquiring my materials, send me an email at unincourt@gmail.com for information on those. Now we're going to have the same unopposed record when we come back at them and make a claim for redress of grievance, with the threat that we are going to go to court and get to an inflamed jury, and we won't be muzzled by one of their attorneys. That's a very ugly prospect, and it could produce career-ending results. And in certain situations, if we decline to invoke the Nuremberg defense, it could result in a lot more serious consequences than that. I mean, they're committing acts of treason here to the Constitution. And any of you who don't know what the penalty for treason is, get on Google next time and type in, it just popped out of my head as soon as I said that, but damn, I'll get it for you. But a very famous case where the people got executed, for betraying our nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. Google that in and see what happened to them. And they, by the way, might not have been guilty of anything at all. I'm not fully up to speed on that situation. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were convenient scapegoats during the height of the McCarthy frenzy in the 1950s and all that crap that went on then. So I'll get back to you about that. I may do a little research. If I do, I'll get back in a separate video and discuss that. But Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, perhaps more innocent victims of the system. How many does it take? That said, be sure to subscribe. Tell your friends about my videos. And let's see. And I guess that's about all for now. Thank you.